to having you to learn more about your stories and your experiences. So, Reverend Bill McDonald is a spiritual teacher, mystic, healer, author, award winning poet, international speaker, and he's been featured on hundreds of radio, TV shows. He's been involved in films, documentaries, and he's written several books. But in short, you're a very simple person, you're very grounded. And today's topic is going to be learn about him, his experiences, because his stories and experiences, his profound teachings. This is what I came to know when I was researching and I was learning about him. And also his understanding about the pathless path and the way he mentors people, because this is what I deeply connect with. And so, people who are awakening and in this personal growth journey, sometimes we feel lost and we don't resonate with any specific teacher or guru or organization, and we just want to keep coming back to ourselves. So, welcome, Reverend Bill, on Light Mirror.
Well, I hope I live up to the billing. I think of myself as just this fat, old, and getting older Irishman that loves people, likes to talk. And I've been around long enough that if you lived as long as I do, you have experiences. Uh, and if you're in the realm of being a seeker all your life, you definitely have a kaleidoscope of events and things that have happened to you. And these things have all nurtured me, educated me, fed my spirit. And what I'm doing now at this last chapter of my life, and I mean that last chapter because I'm well past my expiration date. I mean, it's been predicted, doctors predicted my death since 8 years old. So it's been every few years I'm supposed to be dead. And I continue. And so, which probably gives truth to the old Irish saying, only the good die young. So I'm still here.
No, I think people need you. That's what I mean. I think it's a compassion, it's your love for people. That's why you keep coming, and then helping people, right? So, yeah, tell me a little bit, because when I was learning about you, I saw that you had some near death experiences that shaped your journey and brought a lot of shift in your life, right? Although it's like when you go through the process, it can be very scary, and you were very young when you had the very first experience. But what is that you found out? And like, somebody is going through a lot of challenges. What what are the messages that you got that you can share with people, from your near death experiences?
Well, here, let's. Most people have had near death experience. They will say, "Oh, this changed my life. This gave me perspective. This channeled my energy in a different direction." In my life, I've had three near death experiences. Started at 8 years old, and then all the way up until 2011, I've had another one. But it's not life altering and life changing for me because in my life, there's so much other stuff going on. And I've always been, ever since I can remember, I've always been meditating, making
Mhm.
up my own techniques. When I was little, when you're a toddler, you're making up my own stuff, having my own unique experiences, having out of body experiences, having samadhi experiences, having experiences where I'm healing animals and eventually people, and lots and lots of stuff. So there's no one thing that has altered and changed my path or direction. I have seemed, at least to me, that everything is normal, and I've kind of the person I am right now and where I'm going. That's kind of been me since the beginning. There hasn't been a change in direction, except now I'm older and slower, and I realize that not everybody has the same background. Oh, you're not having rainbow body experiences. Oh, you're not walking through walls. Oh, you're not having a two body experience. Oh, you're not escaping time and going back and forth different. You're not. I mean, all that seems funny when I say that because it sounds like a joke, but in truth, I just assumed the normal. My life was kind of normal. Then as I got older and realized, oh, I'm the out I'm the guy outside. Something's different here. Most people don't talk about this stuff because they don't experience it, don't believe in it. It doesn't happen to them. It's rare. It's only actually in the last decades, probably the last 25 years, that real seekers have found an audience for sharing.
Yeah.
And the advent of the internet, uh, one of the blessings of YouTube is you're able to do things like this and post them, and all these other organizations, you're able to get your message out. But when I was young, this was something I exchanged with close friends or with nobody, because you need to talk to an understanding audience. And I'm finding that as I grow older, the audience is broadened. Younger people are coming into this thing much sooner. People are stepping out of their old ancient roles of I'm born in this religion, I have this belief, my family's had this belief for 10 centuries, we're going to follow this path and there's no questions, to now young people are questioning everything, which I think is beautiful. Question everything. And what you believe today doesn't mean it's still good to believe till tomorrow. So you should always be open to the river of revolutionary and evolutionary change, especially in the spiritual. Because what you thought and believed in your teens is not the same thing you believe in your 40s or your 50s or your 70s or your 80s. It's an evolving process. And as you start to experience more things, it opens up more questions than it does answers. You realize, I thought I knew everything at 20. Come on, I didn't even know these other questions at that age. I just assumed I had a handle on things, and now I wake up and I'm going, what don't I know now? Because the knowledge base keeps growing. But knowing about the divine, I finally come to the conclusion: the only thing you got to know is love. That's it. You don't have to understand the scriptures. You don't have to study them. You don't have to get into the dogma of the religions. You get involved in all the going to the mass, going to the puja, going to the temple, going to the church, whatever. Only thing that really matters in the end: who did you love? Who did you serve? Were your intentions sacred and holy? So were you doing things to get attention and, hey, look, I'm donating money, I'm helping people because I'm better than everybody? Or was it, I'm serving the God in everybody, and you're happy in the little corner with no spotlight on you? That's the one thing I'm noticing now in this world of the guru business. There's not too many humble gurus left. Everybody's got a million followers, and I am holy, I am humble, I am the path, I am the way, and that's good and right for some. I let it go at that. But in truth, I'm teaching people a different route. I'm showing people what I call a pathless path, meaning you don't need the trappings of the outside things. For example, everybody needs some kind of mentor. Let's put it that,
Yes.
whether you call it a guru, a teacher, whatever. But I'm telling people, in reality, when you really start to move along, in reality, you are your own teacher. You are your own guru. You are your own healer, and you are your own savior. There's nobody on the outside coming to save you. You're not a victim. You've created and manifested everything in your world in this dream, and you're the one that's going to clean it up and make it right. So the good news is you created it, but you can also create the solutions. So it is what it is, but I do believe in divine mercy, divine grace, divine healing, divine love. And to me, we're not made to suffer long. Once you start to wake up and you have the desire and the intention to love and serve, things start to change. And through meditation, which I think you can burn off karma through meditation, service and love, karma yoga, come on. It's we got it coming, we got a debt. But love, bhakti, love. Love cuts it all. So when you start by loving yourself and realizing that the self, we are one with the divine, meaning the divine consciousness, which I call love. Other people call God, Jesus, Buddha, Shiva, whatever you want. Doesn't make a difference. It's still just love. And that's the creative force. And I don't care how anybody believes, what their faiths are. If they're happy, I'm happy. Doesn't matter to me. Not trying to convert anybody. So my platform is really simple. Love, forgive, and be grateful. Have gratitude for everything in your life. That means if you lost your job, you get a divorce, you get cancer, you win $1 million, whatever it is, good or bad, don't judge it. Whatever happens, it's a gift. Look what you're supposed to get out of it and be grateful for it. Like, I got some real bad cancer I've been dealing with since 1979. I've had in the last 5 years, I had over 1,000 stitches in this face in the head, over 1,000. I've had the nose cut off 3 times, and I'm talking about totally rebuilt from my shoulder, believe it or not. If you look at that, that's rebuilt from my shoulder.
Mm.
It is what it is. Top of the head was cut off and had cancer in the skull. And I mean, it's just ongoing. I got surgery coming up in a couple of months. So am I a victim? No. All that happened is given me grace, and it's given me substance, and it's given me a resume where I could teach people about self-healing because I've tried it out. This works. I mean, if you've seen pictures of me with my face with hundreds of stitches in it, I mean, with cuts running from here all the way up to here and across here, and a nose gone, and big scars here, and big, huge cuts here. Listen, I'm over 80 years old. Look at that face.
Oh, and still so much glow, and I'm seeing all the love and glow here right now.
So it's like,
And
if I show you a picture, which I have actually a picture back here, but I'll show you a picture from 20 years ago. Okay. Here's what I looked like 20 years ago. Now look at me now. Which one's older?
yeah, this one, the picture one.
So you look at the old picture and it looks like the old picture is the new one.
Yeah.
So what happened was once I started having all this stuff done and painful stuff and tearing up my face and everything, I started practicing this self-love at all levels, physical, spiritual, mental. So when the nose was gone, just picture nothing here, just a big hole and some bloody bandages. And I'd take my hands and I'd put them on my face and I'd love the hole in my face. I'd love the nose that was missing. I'd love the cancer. I loved me. I loved my face. I was grateful. And I practice this and I teach this in my workshops. And you're going to be going to one here in a month or so, and I'll be teaching it there. And just by giving myself love, not prayers saying, God, help me, cure me, heal me, never uttering a word. I was grateful. So I loved me. I forgave me for taking such terrible care of my skin and my face, and apologized to myself and the skin. And I was grateful for the cancer. I love the cancer. You're supposed to love your enemies, love the cancer. So, and through giving love to myself and even to this so-called enemy that was eating me up, I would look in about 3 weeks after massive surgery with this picture, hundreds of stitches. And then you come back 3 weeks, I start to look like this. A month, I'd look just like this.
Wow.
Just the only added thing I did was an old remedy that somebody in India told me about. Well, I use castor oil. Castor oil, that's old fashioned. So I took castor oil and I just put castor oils on all the on the scars.
Okay.
Now you can see kind of a slight outline here, maybe one that kind of goes up here.
Mm-hmm.
Castor oil, love.
And love. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
So You don't need the $100 products. You don't need to go get Botox. You don't need to do any of that. And if
Yeah.
you look at my face, show me a wrinkle. I'm over 80. My friends are all, they look over 80. I'm sorry. They look over 80. But it's like,
Yeah.
but this is the
Yeah.
product of self induced love.
Yes.
Realizing when you're loving yourself, you're actually loving God, because
Mm.
God and you and I and us, right? We are all God. We're all that one consciousness. And when we love ourselves, we really are loving God. We're identifying with that divine self. So when you're loving you, you're loving God. When you're loving God, you're loving you. If you're loving you and you're loving God, then you're loving your family, and you're loving your neighbors, and you're loving your enemy. Don't have to like them,
Yeah.
but you got to love your enemy.
Mm.
And just by spreading love. When I say I'm overdue, I really mean this. I just had my 38th heart attack. So I've had 38 major heart attacks. I got 8 stents. I got diabetes. I got cirrhosis of the liver, non-alcoholic kind, fatty liver. I've got my gallbladder out. I've had kidney stones, kidney disease, pneumonia 7 times, bronchitis. The list just goes on and on. Gout, you name it, arthritis, rheumatism. It just goes on and on and on. This body has been falling apart. I got congestive heart failure for over almost 20 years. Doctors say, well, if you make 5 years, that's a good deal. If you make 10, that's well, I'm well past that. So I did I went on AI because everybody's got AI, right? I was on Chat PT, whatever it is.
Gotcha.
And I put in my medical history. I just typed in, I said, a man born in 1946, March, right?
Mm.
Having these issues, in a hospital for a year when you're, 8 years old with Bright's disease of the kidneys, with pleurisy of the chest, filled up with fluids, with this disease, that disease, and then having this and that. I put in all this stuff. I go, what's 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 my longevity? How long am I going to go? What's my expiration date? And Chat, I didn't realize Chat had a little humor. When Chat goes, sir, for you to even ask that question, it's you should be just grateful. You should be grateful that you're still alive today.
Yeah.
And you should count every day as a blessing. That was my
Amazing.
answer. It's like, no, you're out of here. If you're still alive today, stop complaining. Be grateful. So that was my answer from the great computer. And I'm going, what? I wanted to slap my computer. It's supposed to be the smart AI, right? So the AI is telling me, be grateful, right?
Mhm. Totally.
And I had my naughty prom leaf reading. The first one I had done, 2010. It only took my life to 2020. And the reading stopped. It said, no, in 2020, it looks like that's the time you're supposed to go. And it says, if you leave your house in 2020,
Mhm.
go to India, like you normally go to India and different places, there'll be a worldwide pandemic. You'll never come back. You'll be dead. You're not coming back. So in 2010, my reading predicted the pandemic of 2020.
Oh.
And it said, that's it, right? And there was no predictions after that. It says, no, the only way that I would be alive after that is if Lord Shiva or Babaji or your guru, then it would have to be some saintly reason,
Yeah.
if they needed you for their work, not your work, not for you to have more time with your family, not to watch ball games and go picnics and write more. No. If they want you to go forward, then you'll get an extension. So when 2020 came, because everything else predicted it happened on that first one. Everything happened. I mean, everything. And then I was contacted by Dr. Q, who
Mhm.
runs the Indian Institute of Palm Leaf Reading,
Yeah.
whatever it's called. And Dr. Q goes, I'm curious. He says, we're all curious. We want to know because this is the middle of 2020, right? let's find out if you're going to still be here the rest of the year, right? So I said, okay, fine. So they gave me a
Yeah.
reading,
Huh.
and the reading came back saying, okay, you've got an extension. You're going to go to up to 87 to 89 years old. But it's only as long as I'm needed to do what's going on.
Oh, okay.
So I said, okay, fine. And then it predicted all the books, new books I was going to write and why, and then my purpose in life and why I'm here. And I'm supposed to be a teacher of love and giving all these things. And, it gets deeper. That's another whole conversation we could have at another time.
Wow,
But
this is
so
amazing.
that was so
Incredible.
that was I should have went in 2020.
Mhm.
So I had a near death experience at 8 years old. I was dead, came back. Uh, and then in Vietnam, I got shot with a machine gun in the chest and didn't kill me, right in the heart. That's another whole story we can talk about another time. It hit my chest protector. I had smoke and I got shot down.
Mhm.
Eh, just a normal thing that happens to everybody. And then got blown up by a rocket in Vietnam, didn't kill me. And then I come back and at 29, I had something happen and I thought I was going to die and I didn't die. And then at 59, I thought for sure I was going to die and I didn't die. I had a near death experience and then nothing happened. And then in 2011, that was doctors thought I wasn't going to make the heart surgery and I made it. So each step along the way has been some kind of spiritual death, but not necessarily followed up with a physical death. It was hard to kill me, apparently. Uh, so I'm in a part in my life now where each day, if I wake up, this may sound funny, if I wake up and I'm still in pain, I thank God because you don't feel pain if you're dead. So if I'm feeling pain, that means I'm alive, right? If I wake up one day and I feel no pain, I'm going back to sleep because I figure this day I'm dead. So no chance. Don't even wake up. It's gonna be. I'm not gonna be able to get anything done because I'm dead, right? So if you got pain when you wake up, good. Be grateful. You got life still, and you continue. So it's kind of what I'm doing now. Now that I'm this older me, I am focusing on younger people, which is not hard to do because almost everybody I meet's a younger person, but I mean younger by a decade or two. And I'm trying to train people, mentor people to become the best themselves that they can be. Not train people to be like Reverend Bill, but train people to take my teachings about love and forgiveness and gratitude, put it in with their own philosophy, put it in with their own abilities, their own talents, and their own focus, whatever that may be, and have them take that love out into the community of man. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm doing workshops, which is kind of an introductory thing. It's my retreats where it happens, where I can have somebody for 4, 5, 6 days in a row, overnight, and 4 o'clock in the morning meditations, for 2 or 3 hours. And you can really make some progress. My idea now is find the young people that are willing to share what they have, whatever abilities or levels they're at, because I can't go out there and say, okay, you're now a healer, which we'll talk about the term healer
Yeah.
in here. But it's like people think, well, if I take this class and then Reverend Bill or some other person is going to certify me as a healer, nobody can certify you as a healer
Yeah.
or an energy worker or Reiki master. These are energy levels and frequencies within you that you have to develop. Nobody can gift them to you. I finally figured this out. I thought I could find a way to no, I can't teach that. You have to come with that frequency and with that energy, or I help you develop and move it up that I can help you with. But I'm finding people are so anchored in all those things that bring your energy and frequency down. For example, and we talked about this the other day, alcohol, drugs, ayahuasca, mushrooms, LSD, uh, crack cocaine, beer, wine, heavy red meat diet, pork, it just, and those things all affect your frequencies. But even worse, you hate yourself.
Yeah.
You can't accomplish anything. You don't forgive yourself. You're dead in the tracks. If you hate others, your frequency's never going to get out of the lower chakras. So what I'm teaching people is this. If you want to improve, if you want to change, you change you.
Yeah.
Not the world around you, not the people you're married to, not changing your kids, not changing your neighbors, not changing anything, except the only thing you have control over is you. So you change yourself. And when you change yourself through loving yourself, which sounds so simple, it's not, as I find out as I go around. What? How do I love myself? People ask me the question, how do I love myself? I say, well, how do you love God? They don't even know how to do that. I said, when you love God, you love yourself. When you love yourself, you love God.
Yeah.
And it's strictly stop judging yourself. Forgive yourself. No shame, no regret, no guilt. Wake up every day, you're a new you. So you wake up tomorrow and you go, well, I've been missing the mark every day, but I want to be a saint today. Close as I can get to be a saint. So you pretend to be a saint all day and do things. This is how a saint would make. Yeah, this is how a saint would react. This is how a saint would talk. This is how a saint would treat people. Just keep doing that every day.
Yeah.
Pretend to be a saint. And when you fail, you go at the end of the day, okay, I'll do better tomorrow. And every day you wake up, your intention is to give saintly service,
Yeah.
not so people can see you or praise you or go, oh, wow, no, just because you're serving the God in them
Yeah.
and you look at the opportunity to serve.
So every food is like a mirror for you, right? Like people are just the mirrors. So they bring some
Yes.
remembrance. Some people will mirror God for you, right? When you see certain people, you feel you get that love vibration, right? And then some people you meet, like sometimes because the anger, irritation also is also within us. So we sometimes get angry seeing certain people, meeting certain people. So it's all within, right? With what frequency you want to align with. So that's why having mentors and guides is important. But remembering that, yes, the divine is already within you. And you, I feel you are the living embodiment of all of that, right?
Well, I'm something. Ask my wife. Yeah, he's something.
What kind of journey that you had, right? With one disease or like something like that, people just lose hope.
There's never been pretty much a time in my life where I haven't had some pain.
Yeah.
I've It's been a lifetime of pain and disease and injuries and whatever. I mean, I thought I could walk through fire when I was 4 years old. 4 years old, and we're living in this neighborhood. It was a really terrible neighborhood, and everybody throw their trash in a pile, and that's how there was no garbage collection. Somebody burned their garbage. It was big, huge. I'm a little kid, figure a 4-year-old, right? And his flames are like 5 feet, and they're burning all the trash. But for some reason, I thought I could walk through coals and fire, and I walked through this fire and it's fires over my head, and all my clothes catch on fire, and I run out of that fire, and I'm running, and fire's getting greater and greater, right? And some woman I didn't know came out of nowhere. She tackled me, rolled me around the dirt, throw dirt on me, beat me up, burned her hands and her clothes, and then she dropped me off at my mother's house. I never saw the woman again. But so it's like I've always followed my passion. It's like, wait, this dumb kid thinks he can walk through fire. Well, there's a time and a place, right? Now I can stand on hot, in fire or close to a fire, like in different places I go are ceremonial, but I'm still, what part of me goes, remembers that clothing gets on fire. So, all right, I'm not as brave as I used to be.
Mm.
But anyway, so life is a series of events. If you look at everything that happens to you from the victim point of view, why me? How come I don't have any food in the house? How come my stepdad doesn't have a job? How come we got no money? How come we had to break into a house and occupy it, with the police trying to get us out of there? I mean, these aren't normal things. But in my mind, I'm going, it was all good training. Even being in the hospital for 1 year, total bed rest, no visitors except once a week, about 10 minutes. My mom and my stepdad would come and they'd visit and then they'd leave on Sunday. The rest of the time, 7 days, I'm all by myself. No television, no radio, no regular phone, let alone a smartphone, no computer, no books, no magazines, no coloring books, no toys, nada. I'd be there all day long. Now, that would be torture for most young boys, how anxious boys, the energy they have. And I'm going, wow, I'm a monk. I don't have any job to go to. I don't have a mortgage I have to pay.
Hmm.
People are going to bring me food if I don't have to worry about it. And here I have nothing but time all day long. Time. No conversations, no nothing. And I'd lay in bed, I made up all these meditations, which I thought I was making up. And it turns out later on when I went to one of my trips to India, I met a Tibetan monk and he's showing me these things and, like breathing through your navel and you're bringing the energy up. And I go, wait a minute, I made this up. How could you be teaching this? So it was like all these things I made up were real techniques that Tibetans used, not yogis used, etc. But I was 8 years old. How do I know? I'm just making a dream. I just dreamt this. I'll just try it. So everything that happened to me, I'm grateful for. I'm grateful getting shot down a whole bunch of times in Vietnam and crashing, helicopter catching on fire. I'm grateful. Gives me some great, wonderful stories to relate to veterans, and I'm able to help them, with PTSD and everything else. So everything that's happened to me, I've turned into a tool. Just like with all this surgeries on this cancer. Well, when I go out and teach healing, and I show people that want to see them pictures of some of the surgeries, they go, "Oh, yeah," and then they see my face now, and they go, "Whoa!" It gives you credibility. So I'm grateful for that.
Only through your authentic experience you can guide people, right? Because you are meant to guide people that they can also heal themselves. You had to go through these kind of tough experiences. Otherwise, how will you teach people, right? I feel like nowadays there are many teachers and they have the theory, they have the program, but they don't have experience, right? So that's why it doesn't come across as authentic, right?
You hit a point. It's
Yeah.
like
So,
I have friends in Alcoholics Anonymous AA,
mhm.
and who joins that? Alcoholics, right? Who's their mentors? Ex-alcoholics, but they always call themselves an alcoholic. So if you've been doing drugs, you go to a guy that's given up drugs. And if it's alcohol, you go to guys give up alcohol. And if it's one of support groups for suicide, you're talking to other people that have tried suicide. And if it's a support group for overeating, you go to meet with a bunch of people that are recovering from overeating. So with healing, who would listen to somebody that was all my life I've been pure, I've never been sick, I've never been operated on, I've never had a stitch, I've never had pain? Well, that's crap. Who wants to listen to that? It's
Mm.
like, get out of here. We're in the real world here. So I come to them saying, no, I feel real pain now. And there's stories on that I could get deeper on because when I was younger, I just used my yoga and my meditation technique, and I could sit there and drill that tooth all the way down the nerve. I just go, Jeep. And then, the dentist would be, oh, and I go, just drill it. I don't need no shot, no Novocaine. It saves money. I don't want to pay for that. Anyway, so it's the experiences were treated as gifts,
Yeah.
gifts, instead of, woe is me. Let me tell you a terrible story how terrible my childhood was. You'll never hear that from me. You may hear stories that you may think that, what a terrible child. You'll never hear it out of my lips. I'll say, yeah, that was, the life I had taught me great compassion for others,
Yeah.
taught me about, you know, families not having enough food in the house. Well, I'm very sensitive to other people being hungry, and all of that. So You're right. Having gone through that gave me the credentials
Yeah,
and the authority
authority.
to talk about it.
Exactly. Otherwise, I mean, why all this will happen? Like even now, you are having the heart attacks and stuff. Like you keep on having it. So it just maybe that is your life's path. I feel to help people going through the pain. You are helping them to elevate.